I'm Jeremy Bello with Seamless Project Management. This is the second video in the series for creating a progressive web app using Power Pages. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to take the tables we created in Dataverse and building a website to do the user interface for those database tables or Dataverse tables in Power Pages. And it's pretty simple. This will be a pretty quick video as far as for what we actually produce from it. So I'm going to start in Power Apps and then I'm going to switch over to Power Pages. But there are a few things that are easier to do in Power Apps. All of this you could actually do in Power Pages, but I prefer Power Apps for the interface for what I'll do first. So I'll start with creating forms and views. Then I'll move over to Power Pages and create the components I need there. Okay, so first let's do customer contact Dataverse table. And we need a form. This is for data entry for the contact. So I'm going to call this edit contact. And for this form, I'd like to be able to enter data for all of the fields that are required. And so here we go. So owner is one of the ones that Power Apps just automatically puts in there. I'm going to get rid of that one because I don't need it. I want the first name, and actually I think I want the first name before the last name, so I can drag it up there. First name, last name, email address, and phone number. That should do it. Save and publish. And that one's good. Okay, I'm also going to need a view, and I need to look at the lookup on that one. Okay, so let's go back. Make sure that form shows up here. There it goes. Okay. So now let's go to a view. So if I'm displaying records on the page, let's go ahead and just modify this active customer contacts to show what I want here. So I don't care about the created by, can get rid of that one. And actually, I think I would prefer to have full name rather than last name. So I'll put full name out there, get rid of last name. So we'll do full name, then email address, and then phone number. And I'm going to display this on a subgrid on a customer page. So I don't need to show the customer that this relates to because it's already going to be related where I show it, and you'll see that when we get to that point. So save and publish, and then that will be available. Okay. Now let's also just kind of look at the default lookup view. That's what's going to end up being in a drop-down list. So I actually would prefer to see the full name rather than the last name. I don't need created by. I don't know if it's going to let me get rid of the last name. Yeah, it won't let you delete a primary column. There's some customizations we can do at some point to do that, but I'd like to see the full name, and it's okay to have last name in there. So I'll save and publish. Guess I could do last name and first name, but anyway, I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so that's what I need for contact. Now let's do location. So here's location. Let's do the form first. New form, I'm going to call it edit location. And Let's see what we got here. So again, I don't care about owner, can hide that. Name I do want, and then I want street address, city, state, and zip. And again, I'm going to put this on a subform or a subgrid with the customer, so I don't need to show the customer in this. So I can save and publish. All right, I think it saved it. It kind of just refreshed, so I'm going to hit save and publish again just to be sure. Okay. Good. So now let's go to view and look at the active locations. I'll just modify that one to do what I want. Name is good. I don't care about created on. So let's do name, street address, city, state, and zip. Looks good. Save and publish. Okay, go back. All right, for the default lookup view, location lookup view, name is probably all I want in there, so I'll get rid of this created on and save and publish that. Okay, back. All right, so the next table I need to look at is customer. So let's start with a form, and we'll call this one edit customer. And on this one, all I need is name. So I'll just hide owner, leave name, save and publish. Okay, I think it's saved. Go back. Yep, there it goes. Okay, now let's do the view for that one. And I'll just modify active customers. And really, I just want name. I'll get rid of this created on. But the name is all I'm keeping track of for customers at this point. So that's good. Go back. Let's do the default lookup view. And again, get rid of created on. And save and publish. Okay. Now project is the last table I've got to do this with. So let's go to forms and do a new form for edit project. All right, so for the project, again, I'm going to hide owner. So I do want the name. And here I'm actually going to do my foreign key. So I want the customer, I want the contact, I want the location, and then I want the start date and the budget. Oh, and the project manager. Okay, I think that works. Now one thing I'm going to do in this is a little bit of an advanced function here. I'm going to take the I'm going to take the contact and I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to do this filter here and I'm going to do filter related rows and I'm going to filter it by the customer that's selected here. Which is kind of an advanced thing. Let me resize this so that you can see that better. Now my video down in the corner might hide this a little, so definitely don't want you to miss that part of it. There we go. Okay, so scroll down here. So I did a filter, and there we are. Filtering, filter by related rows, and I did it related to customer. Again, my use case in this is I do projects for customers, and I want to know who the primary contact is related to that customer on my project. So when I select a customer, I want just the contacts that belong to that customer to show up. Similar with location, so let's do the same thing here. I want to filter by related rows, and I want to filter by the customer to only show the locations that belong to that customer. Okay, so let's save and publish. It's a little bit of an advanced thing, but it's nice for the data entry. Okay. Now I also need a view for project. Okay, and I'll just modify the active projects view. Let's get rid of created on. Okay, and let's go over here to related. So I'm going to select the customer when I save it, but let's also have the customer's name show up here. And then I'm going to select the contact when I save it. But let's say I want the contact's full name, their email address, and their phone number to show up here. Let's see what else. I'm going to choose location, but let's say I want the location name, street address, city, state, and zip code to show up here. And then I'll come back over here and I want the start date, budget, and let's do the project manager too. And you'll notice I didn't go through related to do project manager. If you want just the primary column to show, then you can just do it the way that I did right there. Okay. Save and publish. And I don't care about a lookup view on this one because I'm not going to have anywhere where I'm going to use a lookup to find projects. So, all right, so I think I'm done in Power Apps. Now I'll switch over to Power Pages, and I need to create a website. So I'm going to do start from blank. And let's call it Power Pages Demonstration. I missed an R in here, didn't I? Okay. I'll let it create just this random URL. That's okay for me. And is my button hidden down here? Yep. All right, done. Okay, so it's setting up my website. Now this could take a little bit. Again, one of the benefits of Power Pages is that it creates a professional web server. Dataverse is going to create a professional database server. It's also integrating Microsoft security. So it's doing a lot of very professional things, which is really nice. But it takes a little while to do some of those things. But it's got everything hosted in Azure, and it's definitely a good, secure, professional environment to be able to host applications. So I'll let it get finished setting it up, and then we'll jump in here. Okay, good. Okay, you can do a lot right here within the standard interface. I find that a lot of what I like to do you can't do in this interface. And so I spend a lot of time over here in Power Pages Management because this is more of the advanced configuration for things. A lot of what I do here you actually could do in the regular Power Pages Design Studio, but again, I find it easier to work in here. Maybe it's because I've been developing for a while, but that's kind of where I'm going to spend the time. Okay, so I'm going to start over here with basic forms. So I have to create web forms that are going to connect to the data forms that I created in Power Apps a while ago. And I'm actually going to do a different one for each way that I'm viewing information. So let's start out with, I'm going to call this one New Contact. When I enter a new contact, this is the form that's going to get used. So I'm going to type in, I think customer contact was what I called this one. So there it is, customer contact. Form name is edit contact and general tab. And this is going to be an insert mode. So that's where I enter a new record, choose my website, and really that's all I've got to do. So save and close. And now I've got a web form that will handle inserting a new record into that customer contact table. Now I also need a web form that will edit the contact record. So again, customer contact, whoops. This one doesn't, when you type it, it does different things each time. So usually if I get the first letter, I can kind of scroll down. All right, so here's customer contact. All right, edit contact, general, and this time instead of insert, I'm going to go with edit because I'm editing the record. I'm going to choose query string and ID. And the reason I'm doing that is that's how Power Pages does this. So anytime you're using kind of the standard out of the box things, you choose query string and put ID as the parameter name because that's how the default functionality works. You can change it to make it not do things that default way, but that's a little bit more advanced and not something I'm going to go into here. Okay, so I've handled contact, now I need to handle location. So let's do a new location, and I'll just hit L and then I'll scroll down and find location. There it is. All right. Edit location, general tab, insert mode is good, choose my website, and save and close. Okay, now I need one for edit location. Edit location. Table name is going to be location. Edit location, general tab. This time it's going to be in edit mode. It's going to get the ID from the query string, and it's going to be called ID on my website, and save and close. All right. So now let's handle customer next. So first, new customer. It's going to use the customer table. Good. Edit customer form, general tab, insert's good. Cool. Save and close. And then I'm going to want one for edit customer. And that one's going to be, again, the customer table. Edit customer and general tab. This time I'm in edit mode. I'm going to get it from the query string, and it's called ID. Choose the website, save and close. Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I'm going to call this one contacts and locations. So this is going to use the customer table, but this is going to be the form that's going to pop up, and it's going to show potentially multiple contacts. Oh, you know what? I forgot to create the form for this one. I can't do this yet. So let's go out and discard changes. Yeah. So I have to go back into Power Apps, and I need to go to the table for customer, and I've got to actually create that form. So let's create it. Okay, so new form. I'm going to call this one contacts and locations. Create. And on this one, I want the customer name to be displayed at the top, and then I'm going to want a couple of what are called subgrids. So I'm going to go over here to components, and I'm going to choose a subgrid. Double click it maybe. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, so show related records is good. I want the related customer contacts. And I'm going to use the default view, which is active customer contacts, and hit done. Okay, so now I've got this view here. Now it's putting this weird new SG control label in here. Now I could either rename that label or I could hide it. I think I'll rename it and just call it contacts. And instead of subgrid new, let's maybe rename that to subgrid contacts. So that way it's a little bit more obvious of what I'm doing here. So this is the customer contacts table, and it's using the active customer contacts. And it's going through that relationship, which is good. Okay, so now let's click out of that maybe, and let's do another subgrid. And again, show related records. Let's do locations this time. Active locations is good. Hit done. Okay, so now it's adding it down here. Let's change the label to locations. Call it subgrid. Locations. Everything else looks pretty good there. Okay, so now we've got two subgrids on here, and we'll save and publish. All right, good. So hit back. Make sure it shows up. Good. Okay, so now over here, we can create the form that I thought I was creating. So let's call this contacts and locations. Customer table again. Okay, so hopefully it pulled it over. Yep, now I've got contacts and locations. Tab name general. Okay, so this one's going to be in read-only mode. So it's going to pop up, it's going to have the customer selected. It's not going to let you change information for the customer. It still needs to get the customer from the query string called ID, and it's got that. Okay, now I need to add some basic form metadata to get my subgrids to show up, but until I save it, it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then once it's saved, now I can go to basic form metadata and I can add those subgrids. So I'm going to do a new metadata, and the type is going to be a subgrid. I need to choose the name of my subgrid, so we'll start with contacts. And I'm going to want a create button in there. It's going to use a basic form, and I'm going to choose new contact. I'm also going to want an edit button in there, and it's going to be a basic form. I want it to use that edit contact, and then I'm also going to want a delete button. Okay, so now I can save and close. All right, now I want my other subgrid here, so another new one. Subgrid. This one's going to be locations. Okay, so I want a create button that's going to use a form for new location. I want an edit button. It's going to use a form for edit location. And then I want a delete button. And I can save and close. Okay, so now I've got both my subgrids, save and close. Okay, so now contacts and locations is good. Okay, so now I need some forms for adding and editing projects. So let's go new, call this one new project. And hit P and scroll down and find project. This one's a little harder because there's a lot of P's. There it is. Okay. Edit project and general. This is going to be in insert mode, so I just need to choose the website and save and close. Okay, another new form. This one's going to be called edit project. Again, it's going to use the project table, so I'll find that here. Form name is edit project, tab is general, and this one's going to be in edit mode. Record source will be query string and ID. Website is my website. Cool. All right, save and close. Okay, so I've got new project, edit project. I think that's good. Okay, so now I've got all of my forms. Now I need my lists. So I've got two lists that I'm going to do here. So now I'll go to lists. And this is going to list records from a table. So first one I'll do is customers. And the table name is going to be my customers table. Okay. Website is my website. I do need a view on this one, so I'll click plus next to the view, and active customers is good. I like that. Now I'm also going to want a create, edit, and delete button here, so I'll do that over under options. And scroll down just a little. Here's my create button. Basic form, new customer. I want an edit button. Basic form, edit customer. Actually, let's do the details button. And details is going to be my contacts and locations. And then last, I'm going to want a delete button. And I think that's good. Okay, save and close. That one was pretty easy. Now let's do another list. This one's going to be projects. It's going to use the project table. There you go. Okay, here's my website. Active view is going to be active projects, so that's good. Now on this one, I'm going to do a little bit of custom configuration down here. I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to do a metadata filter. So I'm going to enable it there, and then I'm going to add some filters here. So I want a dynamic lookup set. I'm going to go through the relationship for customer, and I'm going to have a drop-down list that shows all of my customers. It's going to use the customer lookup view, and it's going to show the name column. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to want another dynamic lookup set, and this one's going to be for contact. So let's go to contact. It's going to use drop-down list. It's going to use the customer contact lookup view, and I actually wanted to show the full name. Okay, that's good. And then let's do another lookup set. This one I want to be location, drop-down list. The view is going to be my location lookup view, and name is good. And let's do one more. Let's do project manager. So dynamic lookup set. Scroll down here, go through the relationship to project manager. There it is. I want it to be a drop-down list. The view would be contact lookup view. That works. And full name is the label I want. Okay, that all looks good. So, I also need my options on this one. I want a create button that uses the new project form. I want an edit button, and that edit button is going to use the edit project form. And I want a delete button. Okay, so I'll save and close. I think that does everything that I need in Power Pages Management. So now I'll go over here to the Design Studio. Anytime I do something in Power Pages Management, I have to click Sync over here in Design Studio for it to be able to use any of what I did. So I'm going to sync that, and then that will give me access to everything. So let's start creating some pages. So let's create a page called Customers. So other ways to add a page: start from blank, customers. We'll add it to the navigation, so that's good. Okay, so now we've got a customers page. Let's click right here and let's do a list. And the list is going to be the customers list that I made. I'm going to uncheck this AI Insights and then hit done. So now it's got my customers list here. Okay, so now let's do another page and do other ways. Start from blank. We'll call this one projects and click add. On the projects page, I want a list, and I want this projects list. Let's uncheck this AI Insights, hit done. Okay, so now we've got our projects list. So now I need to set up security so that I can see all of these things. So first, let's do page permissions. For the customers page, I want it to only show, I want to choose, and I'm just going to do authenticated users. So you have to be logged in to see that page. Same thing with projects, authenticated users. Save that. Okay, so now table permissions. I need a permission for each of the tables that I use. So I'm going to say customers is the first one here, and that's going to be, CUST, customer. Okay. I'm going to give an authenticated user the right to do anything with the customer table. So I'll add roles and just authenticated users. Okay, that looks good. And looks like I'm missing my save button. There it is. Okay, so let's do another new permission. this one for contacts. Or maybe we'll call it customer contacts, because that is what the table's named. So customer contact. Again, I'm going to give all permissions to anyone who's logged in. Okay, let's do the same with location. Table is location. There we go. All permissions to authenticated users. Okay, so now projects. There we go. All permissions to authenticated users. And then the last one, you wouldn't think of this one just automatically, but we're going to do the actual contacts table. And the reason for this is that our project manager is coming from the contacts table. So I need to be able to read from that table, and I also need, not sure if it's append or append to, I always have to refresh my memory on that one, but I'll go ahead and check both of them. When you save a record that's related to another record, it uses append and append to. I always have to refresh on which way that goes. But again, this is a demonstration, so I'll just check both of them, and that'll cover both cases there. Okay, so go back to pages, and let's maybe go to the home page, and let's preview it. So preview the website. Now by default, it's going to allow a couple of different sign-in options, but I set all my security to authenticated users, so you have to sign in. Intra ID is going to be the easiest one because you're already signed in to Intra ID, which is your Microsoft 365 account when you're creating these things. So we'll go ahead and just do it that way. That'll make it really easy, and you'll be set up as a user in the system. Now if it pops up like this where you don't have a first name and last name, it's a good idea to go ahead and put that in there so that when you have that drop down list for project manager, that it actually has a name in there. So anyway, so now if I go to customers, view is not available. That's weird. Projects, view is not available. Interesting. Okay. Now, I will go ahead and just go to my demo project that I did create to show you what it's supposed to look like, because I've done basically exactly the same. So here's our customers page. It shows the customers. We've got that contacts and locations where it's going to list potentially multiple locations, multiple contacts. You can create new ones, you can edit them, and you can delete them. So all of those should be there. In projects, you should have filters for all of these different things, and you should be able to create. I have to scroll to get to where edit and delete are, but I should be able to edit and delete as well. So that's pretty well the demonstration for this one. Not sure why sometimes it shows this view is not available. That's a little bit weird. I'm gonna have to dig into that. But again, I did the exact same thing on this, and it showed everything just fine. So I'll dig in. Hopefully you don't run into the same problem with that, but that should be good. So hope that this was helpful, and hope you're able to do some good web development, progressive web apps with Power Pages. Again, I built this entire thing in about an hour with the Dataverse tables and the user interface, and I've got a fully functioning web application that allows me to work with 4 Dataverse tables. So pretty powerful stuff. I like the way that low code can do that. That's it for this video. I'll build on this in the next one.